Hey there everybody, we're looking at another product review here now. This is the Mason Jar Vacuum Sealer Kit. Got it off of Amazon. There is no brand name on this. Just an unlabeled white box with some words on it, but here is the barcode, maybe, for it. Oh, maybe I'll try to put a picture in. But all it has is Mason Jar Vacuum Sealer Kit. In the box you get the large jar size, the smaller mouth size, a few different hose lengths. As you can see, the connectors here. There's a few more down there, as well as an opener. And then of course the user manual. And in the user manual it talks about the width of the jars. But if you're familiar with jars, this is a small mouth. This style goes on, and the wide mouth are about the width of that jar. So if it has that little shoulder there, it's probably a small mouth jar. Because there's not much information here, it talks about the connectors and which food saver models that they're suited for, the NutriChef. This one does say Gurion, which I assume is how you say that. And I believe that we're using that one on here. I've made a couple different hoses here depending on what fits. The gray end of these hoses go in the accessory port, and the green end goes in here. So we found that it works really well for storing things like grains in jars, or pasta we've put in jars, pretzels. It also does liquids really well. Today we're going to be sealing up what's left of this Apothic Red. We found that it's no substitute for a brand new bottle, but it keeps really well. It probably saves a day or so of it sitting just like this in here with the cork in it. Makes a big deal. We're no connoisseurs by any means, but it is certainly, it's noticeable, at least we believe so. So we're going to come in just a little bit, get a closer shot. So how this works is you put your item here in the jar. Again, we're using some red wine. We find that it helps it not get so oxidized and stale tasting this way. You put the lid on first, and just the lid. Now, we're not doing any real canning here, so this has just been washed in the dishwasher along with the lid. We haven't sterilized or anything like that. It won't be in there that long to make a big difference. But you do want to make sure that this rim is cleaned off, nothing's on it. And the same thing with the rims of these. Make sure they're cleaned off, otherwise you're going to have a problem with the seal. So you can hear and see the pop there. Again, we're going to take the small mouth lid, push it right on top, and push all the way down until it stops. You can sort of see here the lid, or the neoprene or fake rubber side there pushes down a ways and gets sort of flat. But I just push until it stops moving. And then what we're going to do, get a hose. We're going to put this in the accessory port. And one thing that I have realized with this, wrong one. One thing that I have noted with this is that, at least on this vacuum sealer, it needs to be snapped. So like this one comes up and down, there's a button here, and a button on this side. It needs to be down and snapped to make the seal in there for this to work. So now we'll push this in this side. The green goes on the actual sealer unit. And then on mine, we'll hit canister. It'll run until it stops. Sometimes you'll hear a pop from down here at the jar, and then we'll check it. Alright, so I sped up this part. All you're seeing is me move around, make sure that the hoses are still attached well, nothing popped off in the process or anything like that. For some reason, in this case, the unit didn't turn off by itself, so I went ahead and stopped it and restarted it. But what you'll hear here in a second when the next clip fades back in is you'll hear a pop as soon as it turns off, and that's actually the lid sealing down. At that time it didn't stop for whatever reason. I think I actually broke this as I was pushing it in. It came at a weird angle and forced it down, but we'll see. But you can see now there's no pop there. I'm not going to go too crazy with it, but that is sealed. So now what we're just going to do is put the ring on. I know we don't have to do this officially. We'll just crank it a little bit in case it does let go or tip over. And we'll put this off to the side. So I've only ever used it with this style vacuum sealer. This is also from Amazon. I got the original one at a Habitat for Humanity Restore. Liked it a lot, relatively cheap, does what we need to do. Like I said, I'll do a video on that one later, some other time. But that accessory port works out really well for this. And maybe here at the end, you'll get to see some pictures of some other things that we sealed. But again, the process works the same for all of them. And I have found sometimes you'll be able to hear the lid pop underneath this. How this works, I have no idea. If you know, put it in the comments. It'd be great to know. Obviously, it has something to do with these little standoffs that must allow the lid to lift up a little bit for the vacuum to suck all the air out of there and then seal it back down. But again, I'm not really sure.